As you know, here we are already wrapping up first month of the fourth quarter, and a lot of uncertainty, a lot of challenges, a lot of things that's going on. And we're no different. We're experiencing the same thing, and this is conversations I have with my team on a daily basis. Just even the things that I got to do in my own head, right? As we move in uncertainty and looking into the future, and really the power of these calls, as well as is to kind of reignite that power switch within us, and getting in here, being committed to this, and just resetting, reigniting that drive daily. It's a daily thing. And I know we've talked, I've shared with you guys, the importance of making sure that we're doing everything to limit our stress levels on a daily basis. It's just impossible for us to truly focus when our stress levels are that high. I had a great conversation with an agent today, and one of the things that we have in all of us is that we find something that we kind of connect to. Some people can connect to the mountains, into the trees, water. Mine's water. So every time that I know something's a little off with me, it's because I haven't connected to water in a while. And I have a particular agent that's hers. It's her water source, and she she was feeling it. So I made her, while we were on our call today, I made her book a flight to Florida so she could get reconnected. I mean, it's just how important it is. And I know Kyle jumping on here, and most of you guys know Dan, and Dan's is the mountains, right? So Dan has to unplug and run away, just to get away from himself, to recharge. So if you guys haven't recharged in a while, make sure it's like free days. You guys understand the entrepreneurial time system with free, focus, and buffer days. And by definition, a free day is 24-hour period, midnight to midnight, that you do nothing about business. It's completely unplugged, no business books, no business conversations, nothing. And it's one of those things you're like, yeah, right, bullshit. But I promise you, once you have one of those days, you'll be doing everything you can to get more of those days. And those are just absolute recharges, but they take planning. You have to plan. You can't just say, wake up or say, I'm gonna have a free day today. It just doesn't work that way. So it's all about really reigniting that drive inside of us daily. And that's, really what these calls are all about. So like I said, if you haven't really identified that big constraint in your business, my growth score, Z threw it in the chat, so you guys can click on that. It's worth the 4 or 5 minutes to take that quiz, give you some insight to where your biggest challenges, your biggest constraints are. And really to know, like I said, know where to focus, and making sure that you're focused on the right things, have the right plan inside of your business. Want to make sure you guys are also taking advantage of this entire program, plugging into the Facebook group, Coach Code group, making sure you have access into the members area. All the recordings, everything we do lives in there, plus all of the programs and trainings that we've done, over the last several years. CHSA, CHBA is in there. Our ISA boot camp training is in there. Exponential growth program that I did. There's a bunch of great stuff. There's some Jay Abraham stuff in there for you. So it's a tremendous resource that you guys have available to you. Also getting on our weekly Q&A calls, the AMA calls. We had a great turnout the last Thursday, and typically those are some just incredible conversations. So make sure that you guys are getting plugged into those. Those are at 6 p.m. Central every Thursday. And then thank you guys for a heck of a turnout on the mastermind call last week. We do those monthly. So if you missed October's, definitely make sure you get November and December in there. And then of course, these weekly calls here on Monday. All right. So we're going to stay on our topic this month, which is about visibility, and making sure that as we're taking we're taking our airplanes into the mountains at night in the middle of a storm, that we have everything critical that we need to see. But first, I want to just kind of get a show of hands, and you guys can just kind of throw it in the chat. How many of you got real clear on your cash flow target? That was the homework coming out of last week, knowing where you're going to be cash flow wise November 1st and where you're going to be December 1st. Just throw it in the chat. Yay, nay. Okay. Yep. It's super important. It's just, you guys, we have to know, right? Remember, it's the oxygen. And when we deplete our oxygen, we start to behave a little bit different. And we want to make sure that we're able to do the things we need to do to continue to move forward. But it's so important to be able to see that, have a great gauge, so you don't panic. You know what you have to do. And so, yeah, Tony. So last week, what we really went through an understanding kind of cash flow perspective. So from the visibility, one of our gauges has got to be our cash. And within real estate, we can get a good 60 days. And so the thought is okay, well, what is, earlier in the month, the homework assignment was, what's your break even? What does it cost to run your business, including paying yourself? And in yourself includes running your life plus 15%. And then we have that number, and then plus 25% for just a solid pre-tax profit number for our business. So what is that number? And, do you have the visibility, knowing what's coming to you dollar-wise the rest of this month, what's going out, and then how much cash you have will give you the cash position November, how much you have going out in November, how much you have coming in, and where you'll be December 1st. And I like to look at it as if nothing, if we just close what we have on the books and we don't add anything else. And we know where we're at right now, we can still add some deals into that pipeline to impact cash flow. All right. If you have not taken the time to do that, get it done. You need to know that. And remember, get time in the calendar every week to go through it. So my process, and I was talking to Dee earlier, I printed out the Sunday planning checklist and was just kind of going through it, guys, the Sunday planning 168. So, printed out, the checklist as I was going through Sunday planning yesterday. So I meet with Raquel on Fridays, and we go through, so it's Financial Friday. So we go through the business and see where the business numbers are at. And then on Sunday, and it's the very first thing I do, is I do the financial review. And so update cash flow, making sure it's updated accurately for the business, and then also doing it for me personally. And so it's just a process. I spend maybe, we spend about a half an hour, 45 minutes on Friday. I spend about 45 minutes to an hour, me personally, yesterday, just kind of going through, making sure just where everything's dialed in. So make sure you get that. Okay. Before I want to share a couple nuggets from call with Coach today, Coach Burt. As you guys know, I have a lot of coaches. So with Coach Burt and Travis, are you still on in with Coach on Monster? Are you still jumping on those calls?
I get about 50% of the calls that Gotcha. I train in the online, but I miss by half the calls.
Gotcha. So it was really good. Coach has been talking about currency and money this month. And I think I shared with you guys, his like, you got to think of currency as a current, and, it has to be moving. And so it constantly has to be moving. And he brought up another good thing. And I think this is what we're all finding out, is that our job, right, is to solve problems. And when we help our buyers and sellers, and it's not just problems, but also their ambitions, their desires. So that's like, when I'm talking to Kyle here, I say, hey, what are you trying to do? Like, what's the goal? What's your ambition? And so you even go back to CHSA, the very first question, asking the tough questions, like what's the objective? What's the goal? What are Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what are you trying to accomplish? And then that's where our proven systems and processes help them solve their problems. And that's where money exchanges hands. And what coach was talking about today is that how many people do we have to go through to find our money? And I just that little thing always rings with coach, right? We don't need more money. We need more people. And, he's like, we're probably going to have to talk to more people. And so how are we creating those activities, those engagements, those movements? And the number, like coach talks about 2 hours a day, 35 to 45 high meaningful touches. That may be more now. We may need more touches to be able to talk to more people, to be able to find who's got your money. And, I think that's just a fun, but it's a really awesome theme to kind of wake up with and to really be thinking about is like, who's got my money? Where is it? How many people do I need to be talking to? And so it was just a great reminder to kind of go through that and, questions to be thinking about. And this is where surveys are powerful right now. If you guys are utilizing the Honey Badger Rapid Funnel app, there's a couple surveys in there that you could utilize to send. You can just email to your database. Hey, quick question, need your help. Hey, 60 seconds. I need 60 seconds of your time. What are you most concerned about moving into the future? So utilizing that, but finding out the problems, and you guys know what a lot of the problems are right now. And so being able to do that and making sure that we're doing that, the hand-to-hand combat activities, meaning we're engaging, we're reaching out, we're prospecting, we're following up. Coach always loves to poke at real estate agents. And he did again today. And he said he had one agent, so he was about to buy a deal. He didn't do it because of interest rates. And he had one agent come to him and say, would you give me a shot to get creative on the financing for this? And let me move forward with this for you. And she goes, I think I can get the seller to finance some back. I think I can get the bank to do a little bit. And then I think you could bring a little bit, right? So she was getting creative. And coach was like, hell yes, go. And he said, he called on me because I already know the answer. He's like, John, what did she do next? I said, she hasn't followed up with you, has she, coach? He goes, nope.